Hi there, students. To remind, a verb, a reminder. Okay, to remind means to cause somebody to remember, to make them remember. But I think we actually use this in two slightly different ways. We remind somebody to do something. We remind them about something they may have forgotten to do. So I reminded him to pay the electricity bill because I thought he might have forgotten it. Please remind me to call my father before I go home. Okay, don't let me forget. Yeah, it's something I know I need to do, but I don't want to forget it. So you remind someone. And then we have to remind somebody of something, to bring back memories of the past. So this photograph reminds me of when I was at university. This smell reminds me of you. Yeah, my mind goes back and I reminisce. I think about a time in the past. Okay, so in both senses, it's to cause to remember, but in different ways. One is, don't forget because you need to do this. This is important. And the other one comes from remembering the past, stimulating memory. Stimulating memories of the past. Okay, so let's remind ourselves of how we use to remind. Let's see, you remind somebody of a fact that they already know, or you remind them of the past. This photo reminds me of the past. He reminded me of the appointment that I had this afternoon. I think there more commonly I would say he reminded me about the appointments. And, well, you can use of, but most commonly to remind somebody of something, it means it stimulates memory of the past. To remind somebody to do something. Don't forget it. He reminded me to go to the appointment. He reminded me to ring my dad. Yeah, he reminded me about ringing my dad. He reminded me of the fact that I needed to ring my dad. But he reminded me of my dad, made me remember his characteristics. Okay, notice you can't say to remind somebody of doing something, to remind somebody to do something, remind somebody that they need to do something. Remind me to speak to you about this matter later. Don't let me forget, yeah? And then this beautiful picture reminds me of my holiday in France. It brings back the memories. Okay, so we're using to remind, saying, don't forget, this is important. Remind somebody to do something. Remind somebody about something. And then stimulate the memory. This reminds me of. This reminds him of good times, of better times. Yeah, this photograph reminds me of the pre-COVID period. Okay, it takes me back. Okay, so to jog somebody's memory, to refresh their memory, to nudge them that they've got to do it. Yeah, so thank you for reminding me. Thank you for not letting me forget about it. I reminded him that he needed to leave early. Customers are reminded to keep their receipts after they buy their products. Remind me to fix an appointment with the dentist. Please stop reminding me about these mistakes I've made. Just don't remind me. And then this reminds me of a film I saw several years ago. It brings to mind, it calls to mind, it calls up memories, it awakens the memories. Yeah, this reminds me of a former time, particularly to remind somebody of something. Yeah, but to remind somebody to post a letter, and then your face reminds me of my sister-in-law, for example. So formality 5, use it any way you want. It's completely flexible. It's a regular verb. He reminded me that I had to go, and he has reminded me about this several times, but I still seem to keep forgetting. And then let's see, what about the origin of to remind? It's probably just the idea of again, mind, to remember, to get back in your memory again. Okay, maybe rememoration or something like that. So, to remind, though, this is where I remind you to give me a rating and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. To remind.